Understanding HST, as previously seen in other videos, requires some skills. This skills is the ability to write each percent as a decimal. So let us warm up with this little review. We are going to write these percents as a decimal. And if you remember, all we have to do is take that percent divided by 100. Perform this division. And that gives you your percent as a decimal. This is the exact same routine that we had when we had to calculate our HST. So right now we are just writing any percent, 35%, 15%, 8%, and 7% in its decimal form. And for that, the routine is you take that percent number, you divide it by 100, and you perform the division, and you have your percent as a decimal. In other words, if you want to translate the percent form into a decimal form, or if you want to write your percent as a decimal, you must divide by 100. Take a look at the symbol of the percent. This symbol looks almost like a 100. A 100 in which the 1 is in between the two zeros. That's how you will always remember that when you have a percent, and if you want to write it as a decimal, then you must perform that division by 100. So 35% in decimal form is 35 divided by 100, which gives me 0.35. 15%, same routine. You take the 15, you divide it by 100, and you get 0.15. Can you do the next two percents? And then I will show you the solution to see if you've done it correctly. Ready? Here is the solution for the first one. 8% divided by 100, and that gives me 0.08. I hope that you remember to add the extra zero, else it would be 80% in decimal form. Now let's take a look at 7%. This operation that I'm writing right now is what I want to see on your tests, and then I also want to see your answer. So 7% is exactly 0.07 in decimal. In math, the word of means multiplication. So let me put that sign. So it looks like an X, but it means multiplication. And what we're going to do is that we are going to calculate not only HST, but now we can calculate any percent. 10% of $18, and we're going to show you step by step. Step number 1, you take this percent, and you need to convert it to its decimal form by dividing it by 100. Then the word of that you see over here, that means multiplication. So I am going to put my multiplication sign in my amount, which is $18, and that is going to be equal to $1.80. But my calculator doesn't show me $1.80, so I have to remind myself that I don't say $1.8, I say $1.80. Let's continue doing the next two questions. So, who remembers what's the first step? Did you guess it right? First step, you have to take that percent and divide it by 100. Then you have to multiply the amount, 25, and I hope that you got $7.50. One more time, my calculator is only showing 7.5. So I have to remember that I must enter that zero over there. Another thing that you have to remember is that the percent sign looks almost like a 1 with two zeros. That's how I, in particular, remember that I must divide by 100. So the last one is 50% of $13. So once again, it's 50 divided by 100 times $13. And I'm going to give you some time to think of the answer, about the answer. Did you get it right? Did you get $6.50? Good job. Now we're going to talk about the visual representation of a percent. This is the 100 grid, meaning that I have 100 squares. Some of the squares are shaded, and 1/4 of the squares, as I can visually see, are shaded. If I think of these 100 squares as 1, 2, 3, and 4, then 1/4 are shaded. Now, I also can count one of the squares and answer the following question. How many squares are shaded on the 100s chart? There are 25. 25 of the squares are shaded, which leads us into the next question. So, what percent of the chart is shaded? And the percent will be, you have 25% because you have 25 out of the 100. Or you can say 1/4, but we don't say I have 1/4%. You say 25%. 1/4% will be a very small percent. So you will leave it just as 25%. The fraction of the chart would be represented by 25 out of 100. And its reduced form would be 1/4 exactly. Now we're ready to estimate 15% of $28.99 by following the following steps. The first step is to round your amount. Now think about this. Is $28.99 closer to $20 or $30? $30. The next step is to break into two amounts this 15%. We know that 15% is the same thing as saying 10% plus 5%. So we break this 15% into 10 and 5 for a total of, that's right, 15%. So every time we calculate 10% of something, it's like we are just moving the decimal point. So think about this 30 and picture a decimal point right here. Actually, I might just write that. And now I am going to take this decimal and move it here because that is the shortcut when you are finding 10% of any amount. So 10% of $30 is $3 because you take this decimal point and place it right there. And that's exactly what I've done. The next step is not as difficult because now you already have $3, which you know is 10%. 5% is half of 10%. So 5% of my $30 would not be 3, but actually half of 3. Which is $1.50. And now, to find out what is the estimate 15% of $28.99, all I need to do is add 10% of my amount, which is $3, plus 5% of my amount, which is $1.50. That's correct. Now we add $3 and $1.50 that gives me an equal of $4.50.